Alright, so to set up Asparagus Staging, I'll show you the completed product. Actually, we'll just get rid of it all, so we make it a little easier for you. Central tank, you got 6 decouplers. We're going to want 6 more big old tanks on there. What the hell is going on? There we go. What? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got 6 outer tanks. And we're gonna have each of the tanks feeding into more tanks, and those tanks feeding into those tanks feeding into the central tank. So you're gonna want to pick whichever 2 are gonna be your first ones to drop off your spacecraft. We'll use this one, and when you do this, it has to be in one time symmetry. You can't have it 6 times. So we'll have this feeding into the one next to it. Go to the opposite side, the exact opposite side. Do the same thing, have that tank feeding into that tank. We'll have your second set of tanks feeding into your third set of tanks. As such. And we will have your third set of tanks feeding into your central tank. As such. So go ahead and put it back on 6 times symmetry. Strut this bad boy down so it's somewhat stable for you. Throw some fins on there, help stabilize it a little bit while it's up in the lower atmosphere. And we should already have the staging set up correctly from before. So you can look over here on your staging. Your first set, actually it might highlight just the tanks. Perfect. So you have your first stage dropping those 2, second stage dropping those 2, and your third stage dropping those 2, leaving just your skipper. And we'll let's see. I'll just go ahead and combine them all just so you can see how I do it. It makes it a lot easier. To zoom into your spacecraft, hold down shift, use your mouse wheel. You can zoom in really far, you can clip through it and everything, so it makes it pretty easy. I'm going to add 2 additional stages. Your first stage will be this one right here, plus the one on the other end, but we'll just do this one. Now you see when you hover over just this decoupler, on your staging on the right, it has all 6, so you have to click on that once, hover over the decoupler, and whichever one you're hovered over will be highlighted in white instead of green. That's the one you want to get, so you click on it twice, it selects just that one, drag it down to stage 5. And do the same thing on this end, zoom all the way in, hover over it, it's the white one, so we want this one. And we know the next stage is next to it, so just scroll over a bit. Take that one. Same thing on the opposite end. And there you go. It's all staged out. Minus the engines. Let's throw some mainsails on there. And then I just had 2 sets of these launch stabilizers right there. And that's it. And it's already set up. These will drop as soon as your mainsails fire off, and we are good to go. By the way, this is entirely too much power for the small lander we have up here, but that's okay. It's just a tutorial, I guess. So here we go. Got the top 3 in the capsule. Let's fire it off. So we're sitting at, let's see, 2.5 G's right here. That's entirely too much for this low in the atmosphere. You don't want to accelerate much past 1.4 this low. And you want to keep an eye on your speed, because the faster you go, the more delta V you're wasting in this thick atmosphere. So basically below 10,000 I keep it well below 400 meters per second. So there's our first set gone. Those first set drops, and we still have 5 engines firing. And with asparagus staging, you will get rotation. There's not really much you can do. Just try to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't go out of control. So we're almost at 10,000. That's when you want to start making your big turn. Aim for about 45 degrees on your nav ball. So drop off that stage, and then we'll fire it up all the way and tilt over. So let's see how we're doing. Apple Apps is at 31, doing all right. Holy rotation. And now that we're high enough out of the atmosphere, we're in very thin atmosphere. As soon as we drop these two, the skipper engine is going to be plenty to keep us accelerating. So we're getting close to orbital velocity. Keep an eye on the map. So we'll just fire until we get to about 78 so we can account for the degrade while of still being in the atmosphere. Good enough. And now we just time accelerate up till we're above or in space, completely out of the atmosphere at 70,000. Go ahead and set up our maneuver node so we can get a circular orbit. Boop. 74. 70. Let's do that. That'll be good enough. So you'll see this little blue guy right here on your nav ball. Let's turn RCS on, make it easier. That's where you want to be pointing when you start your burn. So get it over it, hit time accelerate so you don't have to waste RCS trying to stop it. Halfway there, start your burn. And almost done. Close enough. Get rid of that node. We got 77, 60. That's out. That's not good. That's still in the atmosphere, so we'll bump it up a little bit. 74, 79. So now we're in orbit. And that's how you use asparagus staging.